Welcome back to another Pokemon What If Wednesday, where every Wednesday morning I'll post a video going through last week's investing and collecting questions, where your guys' questions will actually be featured in the video, and one person's question will help me make the thumbnail every single week. So please drop your questions down below for a chance to be in next week's video. And if I did comment to you saying great question, I might use this and I didn't. Please drop that same question again and make sure you put repeat question and it will get moved to the top. And if it's super long, maybe shorten it up a little bit. It might have been too big to screenshot. And I'm not saying I'm some guru who just knows everything, but when I'm unsure, I always like to talk it out with a few people. It always helps me make my final decision. But all right, we do have to get thanks to our video sponsor real quick. This is a brand new sponsor, and we've had sponsors very similar to this before, and those are honestly all great apps. But you guys know I'm trying to partner with the best of the best, and that's why today's sponsor is Collectr. This app is crazy. If you guys are interested in keeping track of your current collection, they literally got everything, and my favorite thing is you can actually scan the cards. It makes it so much faster. And they are absolutely massive in the hobby right now. They're constantly donating to a ton of other channels, and they're doing huge giveaways. I mean, even right now, they're doing a giveaway with PokeChloe and PokeDean for a sealed Vulpix Poncho box. I mean, that is just absolutely crazy. They're doing another giveaway for a Burning Shadows Charizard. So I will put all the links for that in the description. But I promise you will not be disappointed with this app. Definitely check them out. All right, let's get to it. First one is from @JoeRoder2613. Hope you had a great holiday. Love your content, and it's gotten me into looking at Pokemon for myself. My kids are starting to get into it for the fun of it. I started looking at it for fun with the PC, but also investment with sealed products. What I've really come to enjoy is the Japanese high-class sets. I know Japanese doesn't hold a lot of value over English, but what's your take on sealed Japanese high-class sets as long-term holds? Thank you, and keep up the incredible work. I appreciate all that. So we'll take a little peek. Terrestrial Festival right now is starting to go up in price just a little bit. I mean, on eBay, we have a sale for 70, 74, 76, 66. You know, that's not a terrible price, to be honest. The lowest I've really seen it for was like $45 a few times. But we'll take a peek at a few others. So Shiny Treasure EX, we're on Pokedata. This was $86 a box in December of 2023, so last year. Got all the way down to $38, up to $49.50, and coming down again to $36. We will check another one, Tag Team GX All-Stars. This set's crazy. So was $165 in April 2022. Got all the way up to $578 in 2023. Then it got down to $401, and then it looks like it's coming up a little bit right now to about $430 a box. Next, we got V-Star Universe. If you guys don't know, it's like Crown Zenith. So the high was $120 in August of 2023. Got all the way down to $66. Back up to $82 in October, down again to $68, and coming back up a little bit right now, just a few dollars, around like $70, $75. So, I mean, they're doing okay. Everybody thinks like they're just worth nothing now, but I mean, compared to Crown Zenith, it's technically beating Crown Zenith just a little bit in profits. And then you got sets like Tag Team, which are just absolutely stacked. I mean, $400 something a box. So these boxes can definitely do good. I don't think they're going to do as good as English, you know, investment wise. And you probably know that. But another thing, too, I love about these sets is they're super fun to open because you're like guaranteed a hit and stuff. So it's just a blast. And, you know, you get one once per year. So it's just kind of like a holiday thing. But yeah, I'm a fan of high class sets. I do have some V-Star Universe. I'm definitely going to get some Terrestrial Festival. And that's pretty much all I have for like high class sets. If I can get like Shiny Treasure for like super, super, super cheap, I might get some of that, but otherwise I'm not going super, super heavy into Japanese really at all. Just sets like, you know, 151 and Terrestrial Festival, like these crazy banger sets. And still, I'll never invest more in Japanese than I do in English because I absolutely love English more. And, you know, investment wise, it pretty much always does better besides a few things. But good question. Next is from @Sal3888. Is Battle Styles a good buy? I see it as a cheap mid-tier Sword and Shield set, but way too cheap for its age compared to some Scarlet and Violet sets. I actually like Battle Styles. I'm going to come out and say it. Let's check the 1-year graph on TCG Player. So it was $101 in February, got up to $137, down to $125, back up to $135, and right now, last sold $135, $135, $125, $125. But if you really look at the set, and this is the first set in the Sword and Shield era that gave us alternate arts. So, I mean, look at that. We got the Sleepy T-Tar. We got a beautiful Urshifu VMAX. And then we have 3 other Urshifu cards. But then we do have an Empoleon V. That is a starter Pokemon alternate art. We even had the Gold Houndoom. I mean, the set is not bad, especially if you compare it to any Sword and Shield set before this. It blows it out of the water. Yeah, I even own 3 of these booster boxes. I do not think this is a super bad set at all. I think a lot of people kind of overhate it just because it was so many Urshifus, but I personally love Urshifu, and you could not beat that Sleepy T-Tar, and that Empoleon is top tier. So I'm a fan of battle styles. It's definitely going to be slower than pretty much every other Sword and Shield set with alternate arts, but I do think it will definitely move up. You know, if you have a couple, it's not that bad. Next is from @SnedZ. Hey Redbeard, what do you think about the World Championship promos SVP 045 and SVP 150? I just picked these up at a hefty price, but have not seen much information about them and wonder about their future price. Doesn't everyone need these for their promo master sets? So I'm sorry to say, I do not think very many people do the Black Star promo master sets anymore. It's just too tough. There's just way too many promos. But these definitely do hold some value for sure. So here's the SVP 150, the Paradise Resort. So in a 9 sold for $300. We got a staff one here sold for $500. We got another one here. It doesn't say staff, sold for $319. So these cards are definitely spendy. I just feel like the amount of people collecting these is pretty small, especially they're so expensive. But some of these cards definitely will go up in price. We'll check the other one, the SVP 045. So we got a staff Paradise Resort here with the Lapras, sold for $365. We got a non-staff one in the PSA 9, sold for $280. This one doesn't say staff either, sold for $404. This one with a staff PSA 10 sold for $750. That is crazy. I mean, we're not getting a ton of sales, but you know, you're going to get a sale every once in a while. The only reason why not as many people are obsessed with these is just because of the art. I mean, it is beautiful art, but you're comparing it now to special illustration rares. And, you know, a lot of these people that are newer to the hobby do not care about cards that look like this, you know, which kind of sucks. I agree. But I think they're pretty cool cards. I personally don't collect any of these cards because they're just so expensive. And for this price, I could get a Gold Star Pokemon card or a first edition Shining card or something like that. So I personally would rather buy stuff like that than stuff like this for this price. But I'm also pretty cheap too. So, but all right, next question is from @Louch Quinn 980. Hey Beard, excited for the new Sleepy Sunday series. Love your vids. Glad to see you rising in popularity as another Pokeboss. For my question, I want your opinion. Back then, I purchased a couple items that I feel are definitely weak holds in my collection. A Vivid Voltage booster box, a Darkness Ablaze ETB, a Shining Fates ETB, and a Vivid Voltage ETB. I think I want to keep the Vivid Voltage ETB for sure because it's a great display piece. But in your opinion, should I sell the rest, or do you think there's some kind of hidden potential in these items? So, you know, they will move up for sure. I mean, even Vivid Voltage, look at this, the last year was $125. Now it's at its highest about $150 for this box. Last sold $153, $147, $155. But yeah, these products are just going to be super, super slow movers. So it's definitely okay to, you know, sell off a couple of these items to maybe purchase something for MSRP or cheap, you know, that you know will gain value a lot faster. You know, some like Prismatic Evolutions or just some of these newer banger sets coming out will definitely probably move a little bit quicker. I also have 3 Vivid Voltage booster boxes too that I kept, but I remember I had like 6 or 7 and I ended up selling off like 4 of them. So yeah, that is definitely okay to do that. You know, as long as you are investing it into other sealed products and not like cards, that's when it gets a little riskier because, you know, cards just constantly go up and down, up and down, up and down. And if you sell your sealed products for a card that's super hyped up and then a year from now it's half the price, you know, that happens a ton. So always just try to do sealed for sealed if you're going to do that. So that way, you know, you still have some sealed investments. Next is from @IsaacWanna3847. Hello, Pokemon version of James Harden. I'll take that. What do you think the max potential of the PSA 10 Gengar VMAX could be? Thank you. Take a little peek at what it last sold for. $881, $850. I think this will easily be a $1,000 card here very soon. And when you have cards like this, you really have to compare it to the Umbreon VMAX. As long as the Umbreon VMAX keeps going up, you know, this card can definitely keep going up since it is one of the top few Sword and Shield alternate arts. So I could definitely see this card being 1,000, maybe 1,250, maybe even higher than that someday. You never know with this card. Especially, pop reports don't really matter right now. You know, if people want this card, you know, they're going to get it. So I think there's definitely a little more room for the Gengar, but it is a card, so it could definitely go up and down, up and down. You know, always got to mention that. Next is from @Leor1472. Would you invest in the exclusive Greninja UPC now for retail, or wait for it to hit the market to put it into the personal collection. I've been thinking of getting one to just have in my personal collection. I do think the box is absolutely beautiful, and it is actually going up in price right now. Last sold 153, 157, 150, 150, 151. So if you do see it in your GameStop or whatever, you might want to grab it. It's already worth, an extra about $25, $30 from what you paid for it at GameStop. So next is from @JGamingDP6FM. Repeat question. I'm a big fan of the content and consistency. Keep it up. I recently traded my Charizard EX from 151 SR for a sealed SM6B Champions Road, and I was wondering if you know anything about it. Seems like a cool set, but there's not much info out there. Thanks. Take a little peek. So a little risky. I mean, you technically traded a card for sealed product, which is good, but an older Japanese set, last sold 275, 210, 215, 200, 202. But it was the Charizard from 151, which does have some crazy potential. That could definitely be a card that takes off, like the Gengar and the Umbreon and stuff. You just never know. But I think the box is super cool, and I like some of these older Sun and Moon Japanese boxes. I think the art is super crazy on there. But I'm really not sure on how much value this box will gain. I'm sure it'll go up, but I have a feeling it's going to be slower. Take a little peek at the cards. They're all blurry for some reason, but they have a $400 trainer in there. So that's super crazy. They have another trainer that's $145, another trainer that's $120, Articuno for $90, Scizor for $50. So they got some bangers in here for sure. You never know. You could open the box and pull a $417 card. I would not expect that, but it's possible. But it's nice to see cards with this much value in the set. That does make it a better hold for sure. So I feel like you did okay. But all right, next is from @TheGrouch89. First question being asked here, how do you feel about Paldean Fates and its long-term potential? Paldean Fates is solid, and I think they did a really, really good job with their products. The booster bundle, market price is $42, but then they got the Charizard tin, and then they ended up getting these starter boxes, which has all 3 starters on there, all shiny, which is super, super cool. I mean, just imagine if that was Gen 1 or Gen 2 or your favorite generation. Maybe Gen 9 might not be your favorite, but I always say it, there's a million kids out there where their first generation ever was Generation 9, and this is their favorite. So you have to remember that. But I love the products for Paldean Fates for sure. And then you got to think there's no booster boxes. So the king is the ETB and the Pokemon Center ETB, which are both doing pretty solid right now. I mean, even the Pokemon Center ETB is already one of the most expensive Pokemon Center ETBs. The 3 special illustration rares really, really saved this set. I still wish they would have gotten a few more. The set would have been just even crazier. But yeah, it's still going up. Last sold 130, 118, 110, 118, 125, 110, 120. We got 100 down there. But yeah, this box was literally $80 a month or two ago. But yeah, I think the Pokemon Center ETB, the tins, and I think even those starter collection boxes will be somewhat expensive in the future for sure. Next is from @OSBOSS1. Hello. How well do you think Evolving Skies single packs non-sleeve will do long term? Thanks. So before we had box breakers, I always try to stay away from loose packs like this because they were actually really tough to sell. They were always super, super slow to sell. People were always sketched out. But now with box breakers, there's so many of them that they'll just take the risk. They don't care. So you'll have no problem selling these in the future. It's going up right now. So these were $7 in February. Now last sold $18.95, 8 of them at $14.50, 16 of them at $18.95. So getting close to that $20 mark. And this is the thing that I always recommend for people to do. So when you're looking at a set like Evolving Skies, what reminds you of Evolving Skies? A set like Team Up. So a Team Up booster pack last sold is 70, 70, 65, 70, 65, 63, 70. So I always like to compare these two sets to. So, I could definitely see Evolving Skies booster packs eventually be $30, $40, $50, maybe even $60, just like Team Up, because the booster box is definitely climbing. We're at $1,000 now. Obviously, Team Up's at like $2,500. But if Team Up can get to $2,500, then Evolving Skies can definitely get there also. Just the amount of people that are collecting Evolving Skies compared to, let's say, Team Up is just super crazy. There's just way more people that want Evolving Skies because there's way more people collecting at that time. Next is from @AlexSanderlun8349. What would you recommend for non-card products like stickers, statues, plush, etc.? I don't know anything about stickers. If you want to get some plushies, sometimes these anniversary ones do very well, but these have been in stock for a while, the Ho-Oh and Lugia. But in my opinion, if you're getting plushies, go with these big ones. These ones always do good. I'm still so mad. You know, I could have got the Lucario, I could have got the Arcanine, and they're sold out now, but they almost double instantly on the secondary market when they sell out. It's pretty crazy. So I'm waiting for another new one that's like pretty popular. But yeah, I wish I would have got the Lucario and the Arcanine. The Piplup is adorable. So if you can afford any of those, I would definitely recommend getting those when they come in stock. And then the figures, they've finally been getting some good statues here, some a little bit more higher end ones. You know, I love these big ones like here, like the Onyx. The value is crazy, $229. And this is a huge statue. And look at all the Pokemon in there. I mean, it's just crazy. So much detail. These are the statues that I absolutely love. Like I have the Lapras one behind me. Now, value-wise, I'm not 100% sure. A lot of these are numbered, so each figure number ranging from 600, so that's good. As long as you're getting numbered ones, that is definitely a solid buy. Some of these ones are a little expensive in my opinion for what you're really getting. So like the Venusaur, the Blastoise for 300. Even the Gengar one, it's pretty sweet, but for $400, that's pretty crazy. And this one's out of 1,000. You know, not too bad, but I feel like this one should have been a little cheaper. I'm really big in the statue world of like superheroes and like Transformers and stuff. So I'm always getting like sideshow statues in and like Prime One Studios. So honestly, a lot of these statues, their value's pretty solid. Like that Onyx and that Lapras I got also is $200. Let's see what else we got. And then I also feel like some of these cheaper holiday ones will do good too. You know, I could see people down the road wanting, you know, specific holiday ones for their little holiday set. And I could see them being pretty decent on the secondary market. I'm going through that right now, trying to find some Harry Potter Christmas Village stuff for my wife. And some of the stuff is just crazy expensive just because it came out a few years ago. So next is from @ShadowFoxMoon. PokeBeard revealed the new McDonald's Pokemon packs. It's based off of the Year of the Dragon, so it looks fun. I was wanting to try and open collect them with my kid as their first experience with Pokemon. Do you think this would be an easy set to start with? I've never tried the previous years because my kid was too young. But I figured since we were getting the Happy Meals anyway, it would be a fun experience. If not, what would be a good starting set to start with my kid? So on PokeBeard, this came out a few days ago. We have not gotten any information so far of a US release. So I'm not 100% sure if it is coming to the US, but I think it is super fun to do these little Happy Meal things. We did it once. We did it during COVID when you couldn't find Pokemon cards anywhere. It is super, super fun. And I think that is a great way to start with your kid. But if we're not going to get them, I think one of the funnest sets to open in Pokemon history is Crown Zenith, and you can still find Crown Zenith sometimes in your Walmarts and Targets. You know, you can find booster bundles, you can find ETBs, and still even the ETBs are really only like $10 over market right now, so they're still not bad, and the pull rate's one of the best for sure. Paldean Fates also has good pull rates. You can even do Trestle Festival. You know, the boxes are still relatively cheap. You're getting a guaranteed EX per pack and a guaranteed special art rare every box. Or you could just wait for Prismatic Evolutions. I guarantee the pull rates for Prismatic Evolutions are going to be super, super good. Again, might be tough to find in stores, but they are definitely going to stock every store to the brim with this set. So, but all right, next is from @PortugalRocker3733. Do you think it's worth following the competitive Pokemon TCG just to know when certain cards are rotating out of the format? I feel like a lot of collectors don't pay attention to this and then wonder why certain full arts, other nice rarities randomly lose value. 100%. The more knowledge you have, the better, pretty much for everything. So yes, that definitely helps a ton. And you can make some decent plays on that too. You know, some of those really playable cards are worth a ton and just people have no clue. Next is from @GeckoSalaPlancha8286. Any interest in Lorcana? The gameplay is great and the first chapter box is still cheap enough for a long-term hold. Pixar will be in sets in 2026. So I actually cannot start any more collections. Mrs. Beer would not be very happy with me. I have over 17 different collections outside of Pokemon. And inside of Pokemon, I have so many different sets and different collections going on. It's crazy. Just finished my original Digimon binder. Got all the old school cards that I wanted. And then, you know, I'm doing the first 5 sets for Yu-Gi-Oh! In first edition. You know, those are all the sets that I collected as a kid. I'm super, super nostalgic. So everything I collect is pretty much nostalgic for me. You know, I collect all the sealed Small Soldiers toys. I absolutely love that movie growing up. You know, stuff like that. So I'm not super, super nostalgic to like a lot of the Disney stuff because I grew up with just superheroes and Pokemon. You know, that's the stuff that I just absolutely loved. Some of the Disney stuff is a little nostalgic for me, but not a crazy amount to where I, you know, want to go collect all the cards. I've already looked at a lot of the cards and didn't really pique my interest too much. You know, I'm pretty much ride or die Pokemon too when it comes to sealed investing products. You know, I have a couple Yu-Gi-Oh packs, you know, a couple Digimon packs, and that is literally it. The rest is all Pokemon when it comes to sealed trading card products. All right, next is from a member at Clayman IFCC. What's your thoughts on Pokemon purposely not cutting their cards perfect every print? Do you think that they run with a water tolerance on accuracy for cutting their prints so that every card doesn't come out in PSA 10 quality? If you think about it, if every card was centered and cut perfectly, how big of an impact would that have on Pokemon in general? I feel like by now it's a choice rather than having the technology available to perfectly center and cut cards. I 100% agree. As you can see, the Japanese side can absolutely print beautiful cards. We can do the exact same thing. But as you can see with the Japanese market, a raw card and a PSA 10 card really does not have a big price difference. I think that would really mess up the PSA 10 market to where there wouldn't be a big gap for the English side. See, I definitely could see them doing that. I also feel like Pokemon is just so cheap. They're trying to get those cards out as fast as possible. All right, next is from @ZayMPLS. I wonder if that stands for Minneapolis. Do you submit to PSA yourself or use a shop like Punch-Out, etc.? I have submitted to PSA myself a ton of times, but from now on, I'll probably just use Punch-Out. It's just so quick and easy. I don't really have the time to do it now. So next is from a member at Kyle of White 8812. I picked up a load of PSA 10 Sword and Shield Alt Arts in a big trade. It was too good of a deal to turn down. They're actually selling for a lot more in the US than the UK where I'm based. Are these still a good hold? Thanks again, my favorite video of the week. So yeah, I do think Sword and Shield Alternate Arts and PSA 10 are a very solid hold. I think they're going to be one of the most sought after cards here in the next few years for sure. I think people want to go back and collect them. So yeah, I feel like they are definitely a solid hold. Again, you know, cards do not do as good as sealed products. They will go up and down, up and down, up and down. So if you're worried, you know, the next time it goes up, maybe sell off a couple to get some of your money back. So that way, if they do ever like come down hard, you know, you don't lose a ton of money. So it just happens sometimes with Pokemon cards. All right, next is from @Sultan of Sauce. What would you say is the average time it takes for a booster box to gain a good amount of value? A couple of years? Or does it vary too much based on the set to be able to say? So it definitely varies depending on print runs and the set, obviously. But I always look at all sets a minimum of 3 to 5 years. Like, no joke. Especially, you know, they just keep printing more and more of these. In my mind, for every new generation we get, I add another year to that. So I would never even think about selling something before 3 years for sure, in my opinion. But it also really depends on like your situation and if you need money and stuff. But yeah, I always try to do at least 3 years for sure. All right, next is from @SumsVillainAJ. Hey Beard, new question for you. I know you always recommend the big 3 rating companies, but I have some really cool vintage in SGC and GMA. They look great in those slabs. What's your opinion on alternative companies like that? Thank you. So there's pros and cons. Pros are you can usually find them for really good deals. Like you could find them, you know, PSA 10 quality cards in another grading company for almost $100 less than a PSA, sometimes even more depending on the card. So that's super cool. But then again, when you go to sell them, they are definitely slow sellers. But a lot of people, you know, you can cross grade and stuff. So I do feel like it is a great option to get some really nice quality cards for cheap. So it's great for collecting. It's just when you go to sell, that's where, you know, you might have some problems and that's where you might want to cross grade. But you don't have to worry about that until you are ready to sell for sure. So next is from a member @ChasingCelby. Have you ever run out of storage space for your collection? If not, what's your plan for when space runs out? So yeah, I already ran out of space. I have a storage unit. Probably have like 10, maybe 11 totes in there full of sealed Pokemon products. I even keep, you know, safe with some of my rarest Pokemon cards there just because I cannot help myself. I always take the cards out of the sleeves. So I kept taking out all my Gold Star cards, my Crystal cards every day, and my first edition Shadowless base set cards. So I keep them all there now so that way I can't take them out constantly. And then it's kind of special when I go there and look at them. I usually sit down there on the floor and literally look at all the cards. But yeah, I love my storage unit. When all my shelves get super full here, I'll pack up a few totes and then bring them down to the unit. And then I completely forget about it. And then it's also a big family unit too. So like my mom has stuff there, my brother has stuff there, and we all kind of pay for it. So it's really cheap actually. So not a bad option for sure. I also like having half of my stuff in another place. I'm so paranoid, you know, I just assume the worst constantly. So I don't like to have everything I own in one spot. Next is from @RadiatorBacon. So this may be a bit controversial, but to me it's starting to feel like LGSs are becoming scalperish. My local ones are charging the same amount for prismatic pre-orders as the scalpers are on eBay. How does that make them any better than the scalpers? The distributors haven't changed the prices. One can argue and say that That's where the market is. Okay, but if those stores didn't exist, the allocations from the distributors would just go to big box stores who would actually sell for MSRP. Personally, I'd rather have a chance to get an item at MSRP rather than buy it from my LGS at current market price. Thoughts? Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying, but that's why I love Punch-Out Gaming so much. For every single set on release, they will always sell for MSRP. You know, when they get their second or third wave, they'll obviously do more market price stuff. But on pre-release, they always make sure everybody can get some boxes. I absolutely love that. So maybe try to find other stores around you. You know, they might be doing that. And then one thing you do have to remember too, like a store compared to like a scalper, the store has to pay for a lot of things. You know, they're an actual business. They're paying for a storefront. A scalper does not. They can get the same distributor and be in their house selling these boxes. So yeah, I try not to be too mad at the stores because I honestly get it. I mean, just think about how much money they have to pay. And then I'd be a little salty too if, you know, I was selling all my boxes at $100 a box and every single online store sold them for $150 and I have to pay more in bills than every one of those online stores. So you do have to think about it like that. But yeah, just keep trying to find a good local store. You know, there's always stores, maybe it might be a little bit further away. Check the next town over or something like that. You might find a store that does it for cheap. But I'm also the same way. I'm not overpaying for anything. I will definitely go try to find it in regular stores if my local game store is, you know, market price for sure. Definitely always try to do that. All right, last question is from @WildProdigy. Looking to sell my Surging Sparks collection at the high next year. Do you think it's smart? I'm looking to invest in Evolving Skies and possibly Fusion Strike Chilling Rain boxes. Evolving Skies has a lot of potential to become another team up as far as price goes. Thanks for the great content. So here's my problem. In another year from now, how expensive is Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike, and Chilling Rain going to be? Because odds are, in another year from now, we're probably going to have another Surging Sparks reprint. You know, you got to think about that. This $200 a box on set release is pretty crazy and not normal at all. So you never know. A year from now, this set could be $150. No joke. That is very, very possible. And all the other sets you mentioned are probably just going to keep getting more expensive because they're out of the reprint window. I just like the odds of us getting a reprint for Surging Sparks and it coming down to $150 is probably a little bit higher than us not getting a reprint at all and the set being like $350. Like if you look at Pokemon history, odds are we'll probably get a reprint. Again, it's not guaranteed. There is a chance we don't get one and the set goes crazy. You just never know. But one thing we do know probably is that the Sword and Shield booster boxes are not going to get a reprint and they will probably just keep going up in price. So the longer you wait, the more money you're going to be spending. But all right, that was today's Pokemon What If Wednesday. If you guys do have any questions, please drop them down below like I mentioned before. And then too, if you guys like this content, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. Leaving a like and comment helps the most, and I comment back to every single person. Might take me up to a week, but I'll definitely get to you. And I've had a lot of people say they want to send me fan mail and stuff like that, so I finally got a P.O. box that is in the description. If you guys do want to send me anything, I will be showing that at the end of the month video where I actually show what I'm investing in, so that'll be a fun time. And then too, if you guys want to know when Pokemon Center ETBs comes back in stock or 151 or anything like that, follow me on my Instagram, or you can join my YouTube membership. It's only 99 cents a month. But all right, I want you guys to have a great day. And if you want to watch my last Pokemon Market Monday, which again was a crazy one and might be my biggest one yet, click this video here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.